Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at how much I can make from selling a single covered call on Robinhood stock. I have 100 shares that are freed up and I want to consider selling a call on it this week. We can look at an example of selling a covered call and how you can make income from holding on to shares and potentially selling them at a higher price. I also want to talk about how much I made from my high income ETFs in the month of November. And I also want to plug my course. It's for beginners. It's the only way this channel makes any income. So if you're interested in learning everything I know when it comes to selling options and potentially sell your own in the future, which by the way, you can make this back very quickly, go check it out. It's linked down below. I really do appreciate it. And if we hop over to my portfolio, it's actually recovered really nicely since the last dip that we saw. There was a point that I was all the way down to $160,000 in this account. I went ahead, I moved some things around, I rolled a lot of my options, I bought some covered calls on SoFi when it was down pretty huge. And now we've seen some things start to recover, and really I'm just going to let this portfolio go and give it time and wait for these other options that I rolled to get near expiration, and hopefully some of these will expire completely worthless, freeing up some collateral, and then I can start selling even more options. And you may or may not know, but some of the ways that I spend the money that I make from selling options, because when you sell an option, you get that money right away, and you can do with it whatever you want. And what I usually do is I either put it in my favorite stocks like SoFi, or some of these high income ETFs, 3 of these being SPY-I, BTC-I, and QQQI. And they actually just paid out distributions for the month of November. And if we take a look here are the total amount of shares that I own across my different portfolios. I do own some of these shares in other portfolios. And then if we take what they paid out distribution wise in the month of November and we calculate everything, the total comes out to $946 for the month of November, doing absolutely nothing. And I've had some people ask me, why do I buy these high income ETFs when typically they underperform the underlying asset that those ETFs sell options against, especially in a bull market that we've been in for a while? And the reason is I just choose to. There's not really a great reason besides just getting the income. And to me, getting that consistent income is the trade-off that I'm willing to take in terms of total return. And also, if the market were to just go sideways or slightly down, these do typically outperform. And so do I think we're always going to be straight line up and to the right? I don't know. So I think having a mixture of growth and then some of these shares of these ETFs probably won't hurt. So that's why I continue to add to them. And I just love seeing that income grow over time. Maybe it's a mental thing. But something else I mentioned is that I now have 100 shares of Robinhood freed up. You can see I have 501 total shares, but if we go down below, we can see I have 400 shares of Hood that I have used as collateral when it comes to selling options. So what I can choose to do is I can choose to sell another covered call on Robinhood. So if we go ahead and look at the current options chain for Robinhood, and I would go ahead and sell this call tomorrow, and it would be a weekly call. One that caught my eye is this $137 strike call with a 0.2 delta, so an 80% chance that this just expires worthless, and I'll get $98 from selling this one call. So I make $98 in 5 days time, not too shabby. I'm going to hop over to my option selling calculator. You can use this too if you're interested. It's free. It's over on selloptions.net, and I'm going to plug in all of the numbers for this specific trade in case I do choose to go with it. So the expected premium, this is 98 cents because it is per share, so it's exactly as you see it here on Robinhood. The strike price is $137, and I'm only going to sell one contract. But here's what's pretty important. It's the cost basis for these 100 shares. Because if Robinhood is above 137 come expiration, then I am going to have to sell 100 shares at $137. And if I do that, I will also get a capital gain because my average cost is lower than $137. Right now it's about $43, so we're going to put that. If we go ahead and calculate, we'll see the total premium gained, no surprise there, is $98. But if we take into account the premium plus if this does end up getting assigned this Friday, the total amount that I will get in terms of return is $9,498. Majority of this coming from just the share appreciation. But let's say it doesn't go above 137 and this expires completely worthless. The $98 I made in just 5 days time, that has an ROI of a 0.72%. So that's really good. And if it did end up getting assigned and I had to sell my 100 shares, what would I do? I would go back to selling a put again on Robinhood. And selling puts are just as lucrative on this stock as selling calls. I can sell a put at $122, has a relatively low delta, and still make $136 total selling this one put. And then if Robinhood dips below 122, I'll snag 100 shares at $122 a piece and go right back to selling a covered call. And that's known as the wheel strategy, where it's a circular loop where you continue to sell calls and puts until something's assigned, and then you do the opposite. I think Robinhood stock's been getting beat a little bit with everything else, especially with crypto being down. A lot of their revenue comes from crypto trading, and when crypto's bearish, people don't trade as much and they won't make as much in terms of fees. And I do think that's temporary, so I think Robinhood's a good stock to sell options on. So that's pretty much the only trade I'm really going to take a look at tomorrow. I'll keep you guys posted what ends up happening. Like I said, if you want to help out the channel, go check out my course. It tells you everything. If you're confused, oh, how do you sell options? How do you make income from the stock market beyond just dividends and holding a stock and then selling it for a gain? Well, that's what selling options provides you. So if you're interested in learning that for yourself and making some income that way, go check out my course. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.